Woo! Game time. Preseason has left or has came and gone, and then now we are at roster cut down. Some more signings, some more trades, up until the roster improvements, so you can get ready for week one. This is the Sun City Letterheads podcast. I'm JD Straselli. With me, as always, Danny Ramirez. How we doing today, Danny?
What's up, Jay? What's going on? I'm doing well. Just another week closer to kickoff weekend, which is great. I can't. It doesn't get any better. I can't wait to actually, see those games in week one. See who's for real, who's not. See if the Bears are for real or if they're not. So yeah, it doesn't get any better than this. And then we have kickoff,
This
college kickoff weekend, so it doesn't get any better. We're just at a perfect
Yes,
time.
the next 2 weeks we have been like pondering and dreaming of, and just like as a sports fan that love football, we've been wishing for it for quite some time. So, yeah, man, I'm
Yep.
I'm super stoked. And then who? So obviously for the fans that don't know, and some that maybe that we know that don't know, you are a Ohio State Buckeye fan. Who do you guys play week one?
Akron or Akron, Ohio.
Akron. Oh yeah, Akron. Okay, so it should be a 50 plus type of
You
day.
would think so. Yeah, you would think so. It's a little tune-up game, but we'll see what happens. You never know.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, Florida State gets upset last week. I've never understood that the college always has like a handful of games before the main week. Like I never understood that. Like I don't know why there's like only like seven random teams, or eight, I should say, because it's got to be an even number. But like eight random teams. Most of the time, it's teams that are like not popular. But this
Yeah.
time you have Georgia Tech versus Florida State, and then Florida State at number 10 already goes down to start the season. Like, how crazy.
Yeah, no, that was a crazy game too. Like, I've been wanting to watch football since, the NFL season ended in February.
Right.
And so I definitely tuned into that game last week and Florida State opened up that game, with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion and you
Yeah.
thought,
So
"Oh, great. Here they're going to freaking crush Georgia Tech."
steamroll. Yeah, exactly.
And it didn't happen. It was a very, very fun game to watch, and good for Georgia
Interesting.
Tech.
Oh man. And where did they play? Because I like the stadium looked kind of unorthodox to me.
Yeah. So this is what they do at the beginning of every, like, I think they call it like week zero in college football. They always have like a destination game, and so these last 2 years they've been playing in Ireland. Last year was Notre Dame kicking it off, and this year it's Florida State and Georgia Tech. So I think they're
So
gonna start
so they
doing
were
that.
in Ireland.
Yep. They were playing Ireland, which is really
Wow,
different.
that's pretty wild.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
have
Because
games
I,
in
I was
Ireland.
like the stadium.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, no, that's all good. I was just like the stadium looked like, well, it looked like a soccer stadium, and then I guess it
Yeah.
probably was at that point. So I was just like, I was like, they don't. I mean, I've seen Georgia Tech Stadium. Like, what is that? What's going on? But yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, you can always tell by the architecture of the stadium, huh? That it's not
Right,
like a
like
United
that's
States
foreign. Yeah,
stadium.
it's like, yeah, German, or like, yeah, like European. Like, yeah, it was wild. I was like, what's going on with this? But yeah,
Yep.
it's pretty wild. Man, so yeah, I'm super stoked. So Oregon plays the Oregon Ducks, which I'm a fan of. They plays like Idaho State, or I don't know, some Idaho. I don't know. Like, it just some team that we should some team that we
Idaho.
should whitewash. Yeah, Idaho. So some team that we should wash out. So hopefully that stays true and we get our victory. So our UTEP Miners, for those that don't know the acronym, UTEP, University Texas of El Paso, where our home city, they play Nebraska. So in Nebraska, so they're gonna get steamrolled in Nebraska. Hats off. Much love to them, but man, yeah, they're gonna get trucked. So yeah, I'm
Hopefully
excited
not.
for. I mean, imagine we upset if Florida State can be upset randomly in week one. Who knows, right? So we'll see what happens. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't expect an upset, but it's all good. But yeah, Danny. So we got some. So guess what? It's so awesome. Like the last 24 hours, free agency started for the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, Jerry Jones, I guess, woke up from his diabetic coma, and he hibernation. He's like, "Oh, we got free agent. There, we can get people. What is this new?" And then so he signed the guy that we needed, which is CeeDee Lamb, which is our best hands down offensive player, which saves number 4 all the time. And so thank God we signed him up. We get Dalvin Cook. They say, of course, it's to the practice squad. That's just because they need to make sure he passes the physical and then he learns the playbook. But he's gonna be part of the running back committee, which I think if you put him in, now it becomes like it went from like we'll see what happens type of like running back committee, but now we have two veterans with two younger guys running back committee, which I think bodes well. I mean, Patriots, so many other teams did it for quite some time. Even the Chiefs sometimes without Isaiah Pacheco, they're a running back committee. So it works out for some teams. So hopefully it pans out good for Dallas. And then last week he started signing defensive players and trading. I mean, I don't know. Jerry Jones just all of a sudden thought free agency was today or yesterday. So, hats off to us Dallas Cowboys fans. We're actually, picking up people and re-signing the ones we need.
It feels good, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like you guys drafting a quarterback. I mean, what is going on right now? What are we doing stuff? Like I'm so baffled. But yeah,
But let me ask you a question about the Cowboys in the running back room. So
right,
Dalvin Cook most likely will be called up, right? He'll be initiated to the 53-man roster eventually.
right.
Who gets let go?
So I honestly think Malik Davis will be the odd man out. I think Deuce Vaughn stays just because he's our Cinderella story. His dad works for the organization. He looked good in preseason. He's finally healthy. They could use him for punt return, kick return, obviously special teams on defense or offense. Rico Dowdle was supposed to be the guy, obviously with Ezekiel Elliott. So those two, Ezekiel and Rico Dowdle, were the undoubted guys. But I think Malik Davis gets the short end of the stick just for Dalvin Cook to come. And then so you get Dalvin Cook, Deuce Vaughn. I was about to say Vince Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn, uh, what was it? Rico Dowdle, and then Ezekiel Elliott. And I get that both of them are a lot older, but if they can give the mentorship, leadership, the knowledge to the younger two running backs, and then just give us like 50% to 60% of what they were in their prime, that'll be a great running back committee because they don't have to do every play. Like when Dalvin and Ezekiel were on their prime, they were getting beat down because their Dallas's offense and the Minnesota's offense, they ran through them. So they made them run for 100 times, a season. Just got them beat down. So help the younger group with knowledge and all that stuff. I think it could pan out well.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm having a hard time kind of figuring out how that's going to work, right? That running back by committee type of thing because
It's crazy.
you have Ezekiel Elliott who's like a power back. Dalvin Cook is a power back. Then you have Royce Freeman who's a power back, right?
He got released.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So he's gone. So
So Rico Dowdle is your change of pace back.
I think Rico's the elusive speedster. Deuce is going to be the short speedster where like you can't see him when he's running. And then the two power backs. Like I like. And what was one of the biggest flaws we had last year? And then that's why a lot of people were mad that Jerry cut Zeke last year was what is it? 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, that power back to get into the end zone. We didn't have
Yep.
that. So now we got two. So
Mhm.
imagine like you're a defense and then Dallas goes into a spread running back wing. I forgot what the formation is called, but Dax at center. You have Rico or Zeke on the left, and then you have Rico or Zeke on the right. Two power backs on a 3rd and 1, 2nd and 1, 4th and 1. You have to accommodate both running backs at the point. Like each defender on the left side is going to have to go for the one that's in front of them, and then the other one on the right side is going to have to go against. So who you don't know who he's going to hand off to. So I think that's
Yeah.
going to be pretty awesome because what if one overtakes one lane and then they miss the guy that they should have taken. So I mean I think that'll be great to watch.
Yeah, that's a split formation you're talking about.
Split formation. There you go. But yeah,
Yeah.
I
No.
think I think putting those two there would be awesome. And then even if you put one of the speedsters there, then you could do a maybe a fake running back option where he takes more of the hit and then the blocking. Then you go with the speedster running back, wheel left or wheel right, and then they go down and you just throw it to them. So I think it could work out if they just know how to scheme it right.
Yeah.
One thing about Mike McCarthy, he's good with figuring out who who does what best, right? Like even when in his times in Green Bay, like, hey man, we didn't have the flashiest of players, but Greg Jennings is the guy that can just shut down the field, and that's what you're gonna do the whole time. Donald Driver, you're gonna be our slot guy because you could take the hits. Like I think he can scheme to what people do best, and then that's why he won a Super Bowl, I'm sure. But yeah, it's pretty wild that it took this long, but at least we're doing something. At least it's one of those like it's better now than never. Like now it seems like they're going all in. They got a running back. They re-signed our best offensive player. They went all defense last week. They signed a bunch of people on defense of the side. So at least they're trying now.
Well, at least, and they're helping you guys, you Cowboys fans, feel better about the season.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because we were like in distraught and just confused and what happened to the all-in mentality. And like I was saying in our previous start of this podcast, right? I told people that you have Overshown coming back, you have Diggs coming back. We have several key pieces that are going to be second string to starters that are going to come back from injury. So it's not like we were missing so many pieces. It's just that they weren't there last year because they were injured. So
Yeah.
yeah. So let's see how it goes.
It's going to be fun to see that first game against Cleveland. See how it all turns
Yeah,
out.
and that's a great start to like see what you're about, right? In the front seven. I mean, you got Miles Garrett coming, so you better be ready.
Yep. And they're playing in
And
Cleveland,
that's the
right?
guy that wanted to go to Jerry's World. Yes. And I'm sure he's remember he wanted to go to Dallas when he was drafted. And of course, same thing with Randy Moss. We passed him up. And then because I remember too, because it was, I'm so thankful that Romo retired as a Cowboy. But I remember literally Miles Garrett was saying, Jerry Jones, trade Tony Romo and several of your picks just so I can be your pick at number one. And then I was like, damn, like, why would Cleveland pass that up? I was scared. And then, so of course, Tony retires, and then I'm pretty sure just like whitewashed that, possibility. But I was like, I mean, if the Cleveland Browns could have had Tony Romo plus several first round picks or second round picks, like they would have jumped at that so quickly. Because look how many years they've needed a quarter. I mean, it's like the Bears, right? You guys were just praying forever, just like so many chances of quarterbacks, and then they just flop. And then it's the same thing with Cleveland, like draft, free agency, and then like Deshaun Watson. I mean, you still don't know what you're going to get from him this
Yeah.
year. Like he's one of the biggest question marks of this NFL season again.
Honestly, if I was a Browns fan, I don't think I would even depend on him being there. I think I would think Jameis
Yeah,
Winston would probably be the starting quarterback eventually.
eventually, yeah. And then I think you regret letting Joe Flacco go, and then I think Flacco will probably be the starter for the Colts. Sometime this season also.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how it all plays out. But I'm telling you this: if Deshaun Watson does not perform this year, he's not gonna find another home in the NFL.
Well, and it'll be the biggest failing trade by the magnitude of money and everything they gave up ever in
Yep.
the history of the NFL.
Yeah. It's a big gamble, and it was all for naught.
Sheesh. And that's the name of the game, right? Like sometimes it pays off and
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't. Remember when the Raiders gave Jamarcus Russell 100 million before he even played a damn game? I mean,
All
that
because
was
he could throw
nuts.
for one knee, what, 70 yards?
In college, like where you can do miracle plays all the time. Like I don't know, man. It's so that was so anyway, so bizarre. But anyway, man, so we got a lot of like moving parts. Oh yeah, we're talking about Dalvin Cook, right? So let's talk about free agents that just like popped in. So Dalvin Cook is signs with Dallas. Um, a few people that are released now are free agents. So Kadarius Tony, his what experimental wide receiver play at Kansas City is finally over. They waive him. So that honestly, that to me, it's like 2 years, like kind
Too
of
late.
like, well, I mean, he won championships, so hats off to him. But it was more like for them, I think they were just waiting for that next receiver to like where they can just hands down trust that they could just let him go. And then of course they draft Xavier Worthy, and it's like, all right, cool, bye, brother. We don't need your like antics and your weird like his statements and his attitudes sometimes were just so bizarre. I'm like, dude, you're on a winning organization. Like, just shut your trap and just go play and enjoy the millions and win. You got Travis Kelsey, you got Patrick Mahomes. Like, what do you, Andy Reid? I mean, just shut up.
That's how you know he's not a smart football player. He
Right.
went
He's not a
from
team player.
leading a Giants. Yeah, he went from a Giants organization of losing, not having a consistent quarterback, to now being with the championship contender, and you're still not learning by your mistakes. You're still acting the way you are, and eventually they get tired of it and they cut you loose. And I don't even think they let him play in the Super Bowl last year because of his antics.
Right. And so you go from one of the worst quarterbacks by highest paid, which is Daniel Jones, to one of the best ever, and he's not even halfway done of his career,
Yeah,
and you still act this way.
yeah, no, I don't get it, but hey, I don't know. Let's see where he ends up. I don't
It's,
know
yeah.
where he's gonna be, but all right,
Any
keep going.
crazy news?
I'm listening. I just gotta charge my computer real quick, so keep going.
Okay. So, like we said, I said Russell Wilson would be the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers day one, and of course, that is the news. He is going to be the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers day one. There's been a lot of trades, which has been kind of crazy. Um, the Chargers claim running back Hassan Haskins off waivers from the Tennessee Titans.
Which
And
makes
then
sense.
Malik.
There's a Michigan connection there with Jim Harbaugh.
Right, right. And so, look, fall from grace. So Malik, what? Malik Willis already got traded to the Green Bay Packers. And Green Bay Packers have been getting into the injury bug, just kind of like San Francisco and stuff. So Elijah Mitchell, who is a great, dependable backup running back for the San Francisco 49ers, he's out with for the hamstring for the whole season. Then you sit down. Who? Oh yeah, and then someone else, another running back got injured. Oh, AJ Dillon for
Yeah,
the Green Bay Packers. He's out for the year, and I'm like, the Green Bay Packers, if they're not careful, they might get hit with the injury bug, because there's always a great playoff team, a potential great playoff team that gets hit with the injury bug every year, and then it just makes them stumble. And so far, I mean, you can look at San Francisco, you can look at Green Bay, Detroit. Those three could be like in the middle of the year, like, crying because of several key injuries that may not help them get to where they need to go.
and now I'm just curious for the Packers' sake, like, what does their running back depth look like? Because
Right. Aaron Jones is gone. You
yeah,
relied on one guy on free agency, which is what who did they get? Joe is it Joe Mixon?
Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs, yeah. I always get those two mixed up. But yeah, Josh Jacobs. And then so him and AJ Dillon were supposed to be the guys, and now AJ's gone. You bring, I wonder if they're gonna put Malik Willis, who is now probably gonna be a backup quarterback to former quarterback, as maybe an option running back, kind of like a Taysom Hill type. Because he's pretty fast. And then, of course, Desmond Ritter. Man, the Desmond Ritter train experiment might be done, because if you couldn't get it done in Atlanta and you couldn't be a backup to Kyler Murray, bro, like that don't sound good.
I know I was surprised by that one, but they actually re-signed him to the practice squad today, so he's still a Cardinal.
So he's a Cardinal for like injury's sake. Like, okay, well, if our backup quarterback gets injured, then maybe we'll pull you up. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's kind of
and that's surprising that he couldn't win at least the backup job, right?
right. Man, that's so crazy.
But yeah, no, that Malik Willis trade, that was out of the blue. I did not expect the Titans to.
There's been a few, yeah, like Malik Neighbors getting traded to obviously the Packers, and then Peyton Hendershot, the Cowboys trading to the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, it's honestly a win-win. And obviously, if you're looking at it right now of a win-win, it's a more of a win-win to him because he gets to learn under Travis Kelsey and be with the train organization that is the Kansas City Chiefs. So
Yeah.
right now, long term, I think we get a draft pick in 2 years. So maybe they take a stumble in 2 years. I'm sure it's not this year or next year, but because of free agency and people retiring, who knows. Um, so Allen Robinson, I mean, this guy, he went from a stud number one receiver. Now he's a journeyman. So I guess the
Yeah.
Lions picked him up to the practice squad. But I mean, he's been with 4 teams in 5 years or something like that. Or I mean, I don't know. He's been. You guys had him too, right, for a little bit.
Yeah, with Mitch Trubisky, he was our wide receiver one.
Ditch Mitch.
And we actually, I know the Bears, I shouldn't say we because I don't have the money, but the Bears actually offered him $80 million to extend his contract with us, and he declined it. He chose to play
Why?
on that franchise tag. I don't know. He thought he could earn more. So he bet on himself. His worst year as a pro.
I'm sure he
That
blames Mitchell. I'm sure he
No,
blames
well,
Mitchell.
that quarterback that year was Justin Fields' rookie year. So
Uh,
So yeah, he bet on himself, and it went wrong. He went to Pittsburgh. He went to the Giants.
the
He's
Rams,
the Rams. He's now with the who did you say with the Lions? He's going
the
home, right?
Lions.
Detroit.
Yeah. So he,
Yeah.
that's so wild. He won the Super Bowl with the Rams, right? Like he was like their third or fourth string.
Oh, that's a good. I think so. I think he was on that team when they won.
Yeah. So John Ridgway from the Washington Commanders gets traded to the New Orleans Saints for a sixth round pick, 2025. Sheesh. You're asking last week like about the Madden thing. I'm at 2031. So like so yeah, we're trucking. But dude, you mentioned how it's so bizarre how the Eagles have so much cap room. Like, like there's no way that they can just always grab whoever they want, right? So in
Mm-hmm.
Madden, Josh Allen went back to Buffalo. I'm pretty sure they missed him, so they gave him a contract. Jalen Hurts goes back to Philly, right? But he's backing up Joe Burrow. Like, can you
Oh,
imagine the money? Like, I'm like, where? How do you get that money? But anyway, yeah, like Joe Burrow got hurt for a little bit. Like I was playing, I'm gonna win the Cowboys again before I go back to the helping of the
20,
other teams.
2031. I'm trying to do the
Right,
math here. So Joe
9
Burrow
years,
is in his
nine.
11th
So
year,
it's like
no?
I guess it's 9 years, 9 years. Because my quarterback, they always say like it's the ninth year man. So that's 9 years since I started because I traded him or I traded Dak as soon as as soon as I started playing. So, yeah, it's pretty bizarre. So yeah, dude, they have Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts at quarterback. Can you imagine? Like that's the greatest, starter to back up if you need one ever. But like, imagine the money. Like what? But anyway, yeah, it's
But
man, it'd
I
be
forgot who
wild.
I forgot who said this. Legendary coach, can't remember. I don't know if it was John Madden or not, but they said if you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. So that just
Right,
shows you
right.
they're not successful. Maybe
They're
I don't
not
know.
doing well. Well, it's crazy. So I was trying. So Nick Bosa was a free agent, right? So I was like, damn, if I could put him like on the opposite side of Micah, like it'd be like over, right? So, but the way Dallas was set up, like I didn't have enough cap space, so I was trying to trade people. I was trying to do whatever. Didn't work out. But the Green Bay Packers have Patrick Mahomes, Nick Bosa, and AJ Terrell at cornerback in free agency, and I was like, where the hell did y'all get the money? But it's weird, it goes back to coaching, scheming. You know how I always tell you the GM, the coaching staff, and the players all have to be one. Dude, they're like 3-4, 3-5 right now. Like they're not winning. And I'm like, dude, you got Patrick Mahomes and Nick Bosa and AJ Terrell Jr. You can't win. What's going on? But yeah, it's pretty wild. Like Madden's wild now with all these players like going random places. But the thing that tripped me out most was Jalen Hurts backing up Joe Burrow. I was like, how the hell is that possible? But
That's
yeah,
like
let's
the
go.
Twilight Zone or something.
Right, yeah, like let's go back. And then they even put Hertz on the trade block because I'm like, yeah, you're probably thinking like, dude, we don't have money to pay for anybody. But
Yeah, I'm sure he's slower too.
oh yeah, he's older. So Kyron Williams is now going to be the punt returner for the Rams plus a running
Yeah,
back. So that's
that's
crazy.
good. He's a really good elusive player. Even at his days with in Notre Dame, he was just a playmaker. So that doesn't surprise me.
I like him. Kyron Williams. He's done
I
some
do
great
too.
stuff.
I like him, and but now I wonder what his role's gonna be because they drafted Blake Corum from Michigan. That dude's a stud too as a running back. So how is that gonna look? How are they gonna share the load?
Right. And we're talking about the depth of the Buffalo Bills, right? And we're like, did they do enough? Well, the Jets traded Brandon Condrington, defensive
Hmm.
back returner, to the Bills in exchange for a late pick of the 2026 draft. So I'm like, maybe they didn't get as much depth as they hoped or thought.
I
Rams
don't think so.
sent,
And then they're dealing with injuries too.
yeah, like
So
it's, oh man, it's so crazy. So I was watching the Fox Sports One channel, and with Broussard and Nick and all that, and a few of
Nick
them,
Wright.
yeah, Nick Ray, yeah, I like him. A few of them had the Packers out of the playoffs because of the injuries. The division's harder, their schedules harder, and I was like, damn, maybe Chicago might overlap them. Who knows, man? That'd be awesome.
I would love that, but I need to see it to believe it.
Oh yeah, but yeah, a few of them were like, yeah, the Packers probably won't make the playoffs because of like everything that's going on. I was like, damn. So
You know,
Rams, no, go
I
ahead.
saw a crazy stat. Um, you know how the preseason just wrapped up. They were since the Bears their last couple games they beat their opponents for by like think more than 20 in most of those games, right?
Right, yeah, they
Granted,
were
they
like
played 4 weeks,
they were 4-0,
so
right? You guys went undefeated.
yeah, we were 4-0, but I believe weeks 1, 2, and 3 of the regular preseason, not the Hall of Fame game. I think they had a 20 plus point differential,
Right.
and the last team to win by that much in the preseason, one of them went to the playoffs for
Oh,
sure,
I
and
know
two
what
of
you're gonna
them were
say.
Super Bowl. And once I saw Super Bowl, I was like, "Oh shoot, maybe it's our year. Maybe it's our year."
So
But
you're
no,
telling me there's a chance?
right? That's exactly what I thought of.
Hey man, if you got
Dumb and
the if
Dumber.
you what I sent you on Gabe, but yeah, if you get those tier, like I always say, those tier B pieces that like may not start or like are just are not well known names, but that'll just commit and do what they need to do, you'll win. And it looks like Chicago's going that way. Like it's the selfless act, like the Kansas City
Yeah,
Chiefs. Like if you're gonna be selfish, you're out. But if you're selfless, you can be a part of this organization. And I think the Bears are looking towards that direction. And I think it's only up at this point compared to going down. So where's
yeah.
Gabe, man? Does Gabe know what's going on? He's
I don't
usually
know. I haven't
chiming
heard from
in.
him. Well,
So
what's inspired me real quick just before we move on. What's inspired me about the Bears is that typically there's a drop off when you watch preseason games and you watch your team, right? There's usually the starters are pretty fluid. They're really good. They go down the field. Then you get to the second, third stringers and it kind of drops off, right? With the
right,
Bears, I didn't see that this year. Like the second string, third stringers, even the practice squad players were all showing up, getting turnovers and things of that nature. So that makes me feel good about this season. But again, it's only preseason. We'll find out next week when the lights come on.
yeah, and the Tennessee Titans right at home, so we'll see
Yep.
how that goes. So the Rams are sending Ernest Jones, the linebacker, to the Tennessee Titans
Mm-hmm.
for a 6th round pick. It's crazy. It's a lot of 2026, picks, and then maybe a 2026 5th round pick also. Damn,
Yeah.
Kadarius
And
Tony.
Ernest Jones is a good defensive end. Like he always comes out. Like when you're watching the Rams play on Sundays, like he makes plays. Like that's what he does. And unfortunately for him, he's now in a crowded room when it comes to the
Right.
defensive line. They drafted really well these last 2 years, so apparently they don't have the room for him to really exceed in his development. So I think that makes a lot of sense for the Titans to give up what you say a 6th round pick for
Yeah.
Ernest Jones and give him the opportunity to excel within their defense. I think that makes total sense.
Yeah, and then so the Colts. Well, I was already saying that Colts will probably be doing ditch rich soon, but tight end Jelani Woods is on injury reserve too, so his whole year is done.
Yeah.
So that's just another piece that you took away from Richardson, and he looks like a more of a blocking tight end and stuff. So if this guy's gonna run, you're gonna need someone to block for him. So that doesn't look good for them either. Here's kind of a like not a player standpoint news, but I found this kind of interesting. Peyton Manning and Bill Belichick will host a 30-minute show each Friday this season to preview the week's Monday night matchup. Uh, So they're gonna have a show that just I guess hypes up the Monday night matchup. I guess well, obviously it'll be on ESPN. Debuts on ESPN, ESPN Plus, Friday, September 6th.
That's gonna be interesting. I
So it's
wonder how they
called
make
right,
how
yeah.
they
It's
make.
called those two. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, like I can't picture again Belichick. He has his monotone look, monotone voice. I can't
But you
picture
know what?
any
But you know what, Danny?
enthusiasm.
That's what made John Madden and Pat Summerall so perfect. Because Pat Summerall was very like just down the
Monotone.
stream, yeah, like just let me just row this canoe, we'll be there. And then John Madden's like, oh, 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 and like, and Peyton Manning is almost the same way. So I
Yeah.
think it's going to be really good because you're going to get a whole like, yeah, I think the player did really good, going out to the fly zone, and yeah, and then you're gonna hear like, Bill, I get it, I'm right there with you. Like if I'm there, I'm taking it down. Like I think it's gonna be, I think it'll work. But I just saw this right now, so I found it intriguing because I mean, I'd be damn, I'm gonna be doing my high school football, but I'd be down to watch this.
You can always tune in later. That's a great thing about streaming services today.
So how do I maybe how do I find the show then?
Probably on ESPN Plus. You just have to like search for it on their website, and it'll
Okay. Yeah,
allow
I'm
you to
down to
stream it
check it
later.
out. That'd be great because I would love to watch the breakdown, and then plus, I honestly they'll help us, like like get better because it's gonna be them
Yeah.
pretty much doing a podcast show on ESPN.
No, it's gonna be very. What's the word I'm looking for? Like very um, technical show. I would
Right,
imagine.
right.
Right. You're seeing it from the eyes of a defensive coordinator, head coach, and then you're gonna have it from the eyes of a quarterback who knows how to dissect those defenses. So it's gonna be interesting.
Right. Yeah, it's so crazy. So Malik Neighbors, who hasn't even played game one of the New York Giants, he was able to switch to the number one jersey. The number was used by Giants legend Ray Flaherty. Hopefully I
Clarity.
got it right. Flaherty. Yeah, maybe Flaherty. So Flaherty's family gave him permission to wear it. So they unretired the number just so neighbors can wear it.
That's awesome.
That it's the first to be retired in Pro Football Hall of Fame. Whoa, what? So
Wow.
his number was the first to be retired. That's crazy.
Wow. That's that's awesome by the organization
That
to do that.
for first of all, for the Giants to be like, okay, go ask the family, we're cool if they're cool, and then for the family to be like, yeah, man, like our great grandfather or our grandfather would actually probably appreciate this because numbers worn by a legend. So it's the first ever to be retired. Like that's even more crazy.
I like that, but then at the same time, it's kind of like
Yeah,
he
I
maybe
don't
asked for it too soon.
right. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Oh man. Oh man, I love the fact that the families were cool about it, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't, if I found out that was the first number to ever be retired, I don't think I'm asking for the number, because I'm like, dude, that guy. Imagine how much the Giants and the fans and then the NFL at that point loved that man back then. Like if
Yeah.
you're the first jersey number to be retired in NFL history, and then like you're that much of a legend, like damn.
No, but it's like the biggest honor you could give a former player, right?
Right.
Is retiring their jersey,
Oh,
and you would hate. Let's say that Malik Neighbors
that was
does not have a good year, or maybe he struggles, or maybe he does something boneheaded,
Daniel
and
Jones.
now you kind of tarnish that number,
Yeah,
or you
that's
don't give
my
it the credit you know
it
the
deserves. Yeah, that
yeah.
that's my worry. Like I oh man. I mean, I love it, but I also dislike it. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I saw this earlier on Adam Schefter's thing when we're looking at different things, but I didn't read it until now because I. So and then defensive back Mike Saint Who's your
Uh-huh.
mama from the Commanders. So he was able to get Agent Zero. So he's going to be number zero now. Uh,
I'm excited to see that guy play because he's going to be their nickel cornerback, isn't he?
right.
And he's one of the guys that you highlighted in the offseason about like draft
Oh,
prospects.
that's right. He's the guy, the Michigan guy, right?
Yeah.
That did almost to the pick six and pretty much clinched the win.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, you're correct. I was like, I was trying to read his name, and I was like, his name sounds familiar, but I'm trying to figure out where. But yeah, oh man, that's wild. Sheesh. Danny, what about you, man? I feel like I've been spreading the news,
No,
but
that's okay. All the people that you're kind of highlighting today, I wrote down on my list here. What was surprising for me as far as trades is Katie York being traded kicker from the Browns to Washington for I think it
yeah,
was like a sixth rounder, seventh rounder. I
who
can't remember
trades a
the exact.
kicker?
I know. That sounds like, and this was when all the trades we were hearing about these trades coming in, and when I saw Katie York, I was like, that's odd.
Deshaun, we can't even afford a kicker. We got to trade him, bro. You better step up. Like, I don't know. How do you trade a kicker?
I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, that was a weird move right there. And then Seattle traded their defensive end Daryl Taylor to the Bears on Saturday, which I was happy about because Taylor is kind of like Ernest Jones, where he would make a lot of plays. You would see him on Sundays making those plays. Now he's again kind of the same situation as Ernest Jones, where he's in a crowded defensive line room,
Right.
so his playing time is kind of decreasing little by little in Seattle. So now with the Bears, he has an opportunity to be that opposite defensive end across from Montez Sweat, which is good. And if not, he's just going to be somebody who provides some sort of support and relief for the other ones that are barely learning the position. And then I thought it was weird that they traded him on Saturday, and then I want to say it was yesterday or maybe Monday. Seattle trades for Travis Gibson from the Jags, and he's a defensive end too. So it just shows you sometimes these teams trade away their players. They encounter an injury or something, and now they're kind of like, crap, we shouldn't have traded this player. So they kind of shoot themselves in the foot a little bit based off of those actions. But they got Travis Gibson, and it seems like he's stuck around on the active roster. So we'll see what happens there.
Damn, that's
We
so
talked
wild.
about we talked about Malik Willis, so I don't think I have anything else in terms of recent news. So if you want to move on to surprising cuts, I think that'd be
That'd be
a
fun.
nice little segment.
Let me chime in this real quick because this helps the Dallas Cowboys. So Nick Chubb apparently is going to
Sure.
start the year with a unable to perform list. So that
Yep.
means he's definitely going to miss week one. So that helps all Cowboys fans and that
So
Cowboys defense for sure.
he'll be out 4 weeks or eight
Yeah,
weeks.
4 weeks, at least
4 weeks.
4 weeks. Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good start to the season. There, you don't have to worry about a stud running back.
Yeah, I know.
I think the biggest challenge for the Cowboys in this first week is probably going to be just the defensive line going up against, that defense.
Right. Yeah, the offensive line. Yeah, we got to show up because Guyton, rookie, he's his first
Yep.
test is like one of the best, if not the best. So right now, if people say Miles Garrett or Micah are the two best edge rushers, so I'm like, he's already facing one in practice, so now he's going to face the other in week one, and it's going to be a real game. So he's going to be really like trying to kill him. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be fascinating to watch. But some cuts, Danny. I mentioned Kadarius Tony, so
Um,
give me some names.
I was surprised by Noah Brown actually.
Yeah,
So
that
Noah
one.
Brown, yeah, he's a stud, man. He's been making plays even when he was with you guys,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's so
And
great.
so,
Well, I mean, the crowd. You're talking about crowdedness, right? I mean, we
yeah,
don't need a third slot anymore. We got Tank Dell for that because now we got Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins. We don't need you, Noah Brown.
yeah, they have a lot of good wide receivers in Houston for sure. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I,
that
I
was a
thought
bit of
he
a
would
surprise.
he would just make the team somehow. You know what I mean? Like he
Well, yeah,
showed what
the
he can do in the
fourth or
NFL.
fifth receiver. Yeah, like I don't know. It has to do with money, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, but now he's with the Washington Commanders.
Oh, he went there.
Yeah, he signed today.
Wow, that must have
So
been recent because I didn't read that when they were cutting him or whatever.
yeah, it happened today. I don't know what time today, but it happened today, and it just
Oh
shows you
man,
Dan
and
Quinn is
he
picking up all his
really.
former players.
You know what I was thinking, Danny, is that like I almost assumed that behind closed doors, him and Jerry were like drinking vodka and chronic and just like having a good time, and Dan was doing his rah thing, and then Jerry was probably like, Dan, you're gonna be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. I promise you that. And then I'm sure this shit happened because like as much as he hates us right now, even in the playoff game, he didn't make no adjustments. He was like, eh. But and then so like people are like fire Mike McCarthy, Dan Quinn, or Harbaugh, or the coach that I like that's on ESPN now. He wanted to be the coach too. Man, he's a brother.
Oh,
Man, what's
Rex
his,
Ryan.
Yes, Rex. Like all these dudes, because it's the Dallas Cowboys, so they're like, "Hey, man, jump us in. You have a championship formula like ready team. Like we can make changes and do this." And of course, like Mike McCarthy walked into Jerry's office like late at night, like Jerry, I promise that we'll win a championship this year and we'll do good things. And then he was like, "Dan, is that you? All right, Dan, sounds good." And then Mike was like, "Oh yeah, I'm still the head coach, guys." And then boom. Then Dan Quinn forever hate. Like I'm sure that he was promised the keys to the damn mansion, and it never was gonna happen. So then, and now he went to a division rival. He's trying to take all our players. He traded one of his best players to our division rival, the Philadelphia Eagles. So I'm like, there's no way to me that he's not trying to make Dallas hurt this year because
Yeah,
he knows
you and your
he
conspiracy theories.
sir, he knows that his team's probably about a year away to making like a full contention because he's got a lot
Yeah.
of youth. So he's like, how can we hurt Dallas now? All right, we'll take all their players. We'll send a great player to the Philadelphia Eagles because they're probably going to be the juggernaut of one of the NFC teams. And here we go. And then, yeah, that's the only way I think that Dan Quinn was just so like a straw and just dipped out. Because how
I'm
many
sure
times?
there's I'm sure there's some truth to that.
Because there's
In the
2 years in a row that he denied head coaching positions because he's like,
exactly.
it's not the
Yeah.
right time, and
That's why
he said, Gabe said, Justin said chronic, but yeah, like I'm pretty sure there was he denied. Okay, so from the Washington Commanders standpoint, Schneider 2 years ago was still the owner, right? Like because he had to sell the team last year. So I'm saying like there's been probably more better organizations that offer Dan Quinn head coaching jobs 2 years prior than this year, and he denied them. So
yeah.
he's like, now I'm gonna run it back because I feel something good. And then Jerry Jones, I'm sure they were just jamming out, and then he was like, "You'll get the keys of the mansion, I promise. No one could do a better job as a GM than me, I promise." Like I swear to God, like this. Did you hear his comment one that day right before he signed CD?
Nope.
He said, "No one in their damn right mind can come up to Dallas and be a better general manager than I'll ever be." And I was like, "Bro, you're the biggest choke artist of the 20th century. You have the number one worth franchise, and you haven't been back to the Super Bowl in 30 years. Get over
And
yourself.
no one
It's
can
your
fire you.
yeah, you're at fault of why we haven't won. The general manager is at fault when you can't build the right team and the right coaching staff. That's on you." But yeah, he said
That's
that, and I was like, "This
what do they
guy,
call that? Delusion.
a
And that's why the Cowboys
sociopath. What is it? What does it say? Where you tell like you try to do something 99 times the same way, and then you believe the 100 times is going to be different, but you're going to do this. What's it called?
that's the definition of insanity, my friend.
There you go. See, where's Jerry? Jerry, come on. Definition of insanity. Hey, Wikipedia. We're going to do this dictionary stuff change right now. It's not going to be called insanity anymore. You're going to turn the page and it's going to say Jerry Jones. And it's like, what is this? Okay. Thinking your delusional mind is right. But yeah, like I'm pretty sure he told Dan Quinn, "You'll get the keys to the mansion soon," and then it never happened. So Dan Quinn's like, "All right, bro, I'm going to bury you guys real quick."
Yeah. I I agree with some of that conspiracy in terms of
Not the
him being
alcoholic part,
offered.
or
Yeah, him being offered the head coaching position because it does make sense. He was interviewing for the Bears. He was interviewing for all these other teams, and he
Right.
turned them down.
All the time.
hmm And I think in his mind, he thought he was going to become the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
And after failing to, I guess, advance in the playoffs, they decided to keep going with Mike McCarthy. And I think that was the last straw. He was like, F it, I'm leaving. And so now he is. He wants to make, I'm sure he wants to make the living hell for all the Cowboys fans and
Right.
their team. Um, but as far as like your notion with him giving Philadelphia ammunition to beat Dallas, I don't think that's true. I don't know what he was thinking there, honestly. I think that was
Okay,
a,
Danny, then you explain to me what he was thinking.
I don't know. I don't know.
Because
Maybe that draft
if
selection.
if I'm Dan Quinn, I'm sure as hell not going to trade one of my best players to a division rival. If there's only one possibility of this year that they could beat the crap out of somebody else I hate in our division.
That was a head scratching move, and honestly, I thought it meant here comes Brandon Ayuk when that happened.
Right. Yeah, I was like, cool. Like, hats off to Washington if they can pull that off. But yeah,
It never happened.
Brandon Ayuk is still a mystery. Like I think we've talked about him more than anybody in our since our free agency started because he's the only piece that's still in limbo. Because I
Yep.
still think he's still going to get traded. It's just when and where. Because like Washington, you can't keep asking for so much. Like there's teams are not going to draft or trade you like their mansion just for one player, but they're going to give you a new kitchen sink. They're going to send you a new bathtub, a swimming pool. You know what I mean? They're going to give you some good stuff, but they're not going to give you a whole damn mansion. And eventually, San Francisco is going to just bite the bullet because why are you going to keep paying some guy that doesn't want to show up, that's not going to play, and then he's still demanding to be traded? Like eventually, they're just going to give in.
Yeah. No, I think it's reaching a point where it's now or never. Like you
Right.
either commit to us or you don't
Right.
play for us.
And you're gonna have all that noise, like, hey, where's Brandon? What's going on? Like it weighs on the locker room too, because they hear all the chatter, they hear like all the stuff.
And right now, it's not just him; it's Trent Williams too, wanting more money. And
Woo.
that dude's an anchor on your offensive line. So if you don't have him, good luck trying to run the football. Good luck trying to
So
protect
he's not
Brock
there
Purdy.
either.
No. And he said he's not going to play until he gets a new contract.
Hey
So,
man, we're talking about the Niners having a downfall. They better like these fans better be ready. They're always saying we got farther than all you guys. I'm like, dude, you really think the players and the coaches like think that? Like you losing the Super Bowl is just you're the first loser. You're the main loser technically. Like
yeah.
at least we know where we stand. We got to get better. You were there and you lost twice to the same damn team. Like that is so demoralizing to the person that's against you in front of you.
Yeah. That's not
That's
easy to
like
be a Niner fan right now.
right. Like it it's like when like when Beto was little or when Cesar was little, you and I like, hey, let's play 2-on-2, and then we just beat them, just insanely, and then we're just like, okay, by the way, we expect you to do this, do that, blah blah blah, and they're gonna say like, no, hell no, like dude, like you hurt us, like mentally, emotionally, you know what I mean? Like it weighs on the players.
Yeah, it does. It's not easy to come back from.
Just as a chronic and whiskey.
So let me know, what are your surprising cuts?
Noah Brown was one. There was one I saw today too. When I was at work. What was the name? It would, there's just been a few where I was just like, that's interesting.
I didn't count Tony in this list here. I thought Tony was gonna get cut eventually. He was just being a bonehead
Oh,
these last couple of
Kadarius, yeah.
years. Yeah. So
No, I
I'm
wanted
not
to mention that just because like it's about time. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I'm
We can all
surprised
see the writing on the wall there. I think the one that is surprising to me, or was surprising yesterday, was Dwayne Eskridge from the Seahawks. He's probably their slot receiver. He's their kick returner, punt returner. and I just didn't think that they would. Now with the rules being what they are for kickoff, right? I didn't think they would give him up. I thought they would could really value him and use him. So that was interesting. And today he signed with the Dolphins, which I'm sure that makes a lot of sense for them, right? They have a lot of elusive wide receivers there and playmakers, so that makes sense. It's a good landing spot for him. Another one on my list, and it's probably the last one that I have. I don't know too much about him, unfortunately, as a pro, but the coming out of the draft, I should say, Ricky Stromberg is center from Washington Commanders.
Right.
So he got drafted by them in the third round. I want to say 2 years ago. He just didn't. No, last year he didn't crack the field. I guess he only appeared in 4 games, and then after that he didn't play anymore. So
Was
they
it injuries?
it might have been injuries, and which is I guess what surprised me for this release is that they only gave him 1 year as a third round pick. Like you don't typically see third round picks being waived the
Cut.
following year.
Yeah, that just makes that's your depth.
And he was really. I mean, he got drafted third round, so he must have been a pretty good draft prospect coming out of Arkansas as a center. So it's gonna be interesting to see where he where he ends up. But then also Byron Young from Alabama, defensive tackle. He was drafted by the Raiders. Same thing. I think he was a second rounder. Got drafted by the Raiders. He got released today too. So it's crazy to see these teams not giving up on their recent draft picks.
Well, Brashawn Perryman, when the former number one wide receiver pick for the Ravens now, and then he was a Colt. He got released too, and it's like, man, all these like fall from graces. You know what I mean? Like it just you had you always feel like you have potential, right? So then it just doesn't pan out, or
Yeah,
injuries happen or something. PJ Walker, I guess, got cut too.
we cut him last year, right
Yeah,
before the season.
that's wild.
So let me ask you this real quick. I guess for the Cowboys, because we watch our teams, we know who was our second, third stringers, undrafted free agents, and all that. So, was there anybody that stood out to you in play this preseason that you wanted to keep, but they actually did cut yesterday?
Oh, our Wood, what's his first name? Zarius or something Wood, but he was a secondary guy, and he was one of the guys that had a few interceptions in preseason, like looking really good. So yeah, it was kind of shocking to see him get released. So maybe they try to get him for the practice squad or something. But yeah, it that kind of that threw me for a loop for sure.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's crazy. It's like those guys become like Cinderella stories for our teams, and we want to see them make it right. And when they release them, of course, there's always a big possibility that they won't get re-signed to the practice squad. You
Right,
never know. Like in the Bears case today, one of their highest graded rookies in the preseason this year was Brandon Bates, tight end. Of course, they had to waive him because they already have a room full of good tight ends in Chicago. So he got picked up by the Jets. So now he's going to be Aaron Rodgers' tight end, which
there
sucks
you go.
because, I mean, it sucks for us, but good for him because now he has an opportunity to actually crack the 53-man roster there. And the way it works is like these players that get cut and then signed by another team, they do have to go onto the 53-man roster. So
Right,
that's a benefit for them as well. But if you look at the roster, the Jets roster, they don't have a good, you know, group of tight ends. So he'll have an opportunity to really make a difference there and really cement himself as the tight end two, tight end one, even maybe. So it sucks to lose him.
it's it's
But
it was crazy. Remember, because I had the Jets taking Brock Bowers to
yeah,
in their draft, and then someone else took the Raiders.
Raiders.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that was wild. But yeah, that I think if he was there, I think the Jets would have taken him.
I'm trying to remember the draft order. Wasn't the Jets before the Raiders?
Were they?
I think they were
They
11th,
might have. They might have been. But
and they
yeah,
just
it's
skipped.
just. But like you said, like maybe they're reaching, but maybe he was good. Like you said, he's good for the Bears, right? So it was kind of weird to see him go. Yeah, it's always like it sucks too as a fan when you like actually like it's kind of a weird saying, but you fall in love with the player. Like, oh man, like this dude's cool. His name, like he's got flash, and like we like him. And then all of a sudden, this dude's getting cut, and you're like, wait, what? Like, what happened? So,
Yeah.
yeah, Adrian Amos, Jacksonville Jaguars safety.
Mm-hmm.
He that's surprising. Isaiah Hodgins, Mr. New York Giant. Like, I mean, are they gonna leave any receivers there for Daniel Jones except for one that their draft pick? I mean, there's another one that the Bills kind of scratched my head. Kareem Jackson, the safety from the Bills. So now all their veteran secondary's gone.
Yeah, they're wanting to go younger, I guess.
Yeah, but yeah, that's crazy. Kareem Jackson's no slouch. He is older, but I'm like he's still pretty good. If you put him on the right team, he'd be a great like if you go dime nickel formation, like that dude would be a stud to have.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you mentioned Noah Brown, like that to me was one of the biggest surprises of all of the offseason. Because you don't think he's like in jeopardy at all.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was. I mean, I thought he would at least make it somehow. But I mean, this is also. It's tough, man. You put yourself in the shoes of these players, especially these practice squad players or undrafted free agents. Like, it's a really steep hill to climb for them, right? Because they're
Right.
competing against veterans. They're competing against people who have been in the NFL for several years, so they already have an advantage over these, undrafted free agents. Plus, you also have to. I mean, it's a process. You're kind of building relationships with your teammates, your coaching staff, and there comes a time where you have to earn your coach's trust. And so that's a time frame. It takes a while, and that time frame sometimes is more than what training camp has to offer in terms of length of time, right? So it just sucks. Sometimes it's I don't know. I feel for them because it can't be an easy road. Getting paid thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars to be an NFL practice squad member and then not make the team is just kind of like what now, you know?
Right. Gabe
But
said,
oh, go ahead.
what about Caleb Farley drafted in the first round 2021?
Yeah, that's a big that was a big shocker too. Caleb
Absolutely.
Farley. Caleb Farley, I mean, being a first
Tennessee,
rounder,
right?
yeah, Tennessee. I guess his issue was that he always got hurt. And so uh, what's the best trait in the NFL?
Not,
Availability. So,
not for long.
yep.
NFL
So,
stands for not for long. Yeah, availability. I mean, geez. Caleb Farley. Yeah, fall from the totem pole for sure.
um I was going to ask you something now I forgot. It'll come to me maybe. But what else you got?
Oh man. Well, we were talking about you and I were talking about college football starts this week, right? And then there's some guys that that we're happy to see in college, and then eventually gonna be NFL pros. Who are you excited to see? You said three players, right? Three each.
Yeah.
All right. So who are you excited to check out this year?
So the players I guess I picked are draft prospects, right? I mean, I
Mm,
don't think it. I'm honestly excited for a lot of different players, especially like
absolutely.
Archie Manning, right? Like you would
But
want.
is he gonna get the start though?
I don't think so right now. It's Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, he's the guy. Well, I think Arch Manning will be there next year. But
Yeah,
yeah, I know what you mean though.
but
Like
he
I'm just
but he's been sitting for 2 years now. Gonna be 2 years, right? So
right,
like he's been highly touted ever since he was in high school. Maybe it's because of the Manning name. Who knows?
right.
But I just want to see what he has to offer. Like Texas, like he's been with them. He hasn't transferred out. So
Yeah, and that's
hopefully,
crazy, right? Like you would assume that he would have got the transfer portal this year just because
yeah,
Ewers didn't go to the draft.
exactly.
He must
And
really
so
love Texas.
yeah, I guess he does. I guess he does. But yeah, I think he's Quinn Ewers is one of the guys that I want to watch. Because of that, right? Archie Manning's right behind him. If he doesn't
Right.
have a good campaign, then he's probably going to be benched. I mean, we've seen it before, right? We've seen it with Spencer Rattler and Caleb Williams. We've seen it with just other quarterbacks in itself. So um, yeah, it's just gonna be interesting to see how he performs this year, given that they lost two of their playmakers at wide receiver in Worthy and then also in AD Mitchell. So he's really gonna need to have a really good year, and not only for the success of Texas, but also for his draft stock, right? If he's going to
Right.
be considered one of those top quarterbacks in the league, and then coming out of the draft this year, I think he needs to have a really, really good season.
Especially there's a few quarterbacks that are like, wanting to be proven to be the number one, right? And I'm going to mention one right now. A lot of people know about Shooter Sanders, obviously from Colorado, because his dad's primetime Deion Sanders, and there's got a lot. They get a lot of limelight, but some people don't know who Dylan Gabriel is. Dylan Gabriel, he hit the transfer portal this year. He was from Oklahoma, did really great for Oklahoma. I don't know what coach told him at Oregon, but yeah, he hit the transfer portal. Now he's going to be the Oregon Duck quarterback coming, from a Bo Nix, Heisman watch type of year. So we'll see if he keeps that train trucking. Like Bo Nix left a lot of, you know, um, a good legacy in Oregon for sure. So we'll see how Dylan Gabriel does, and if he owns up to be to his own hype, because people are expecting great things for him. And then it surprised me, but I was happy. But Oregon in the coaches poll is number 3 right now in the whole country. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh damn, well these dudes better step up then. Like you're my team, but I mean you got a heavyweight battle right now because you're number 3.
Not only that, but I mean, a lot of people are picking them as like national championship contenders, right? And they're going from the Pac-12 to now the Big Ten. So the
Right.
competition is going to be different.
Yeah. And then yeah, you're not used to those teams like you were before. And yeah, it's gonna be
You're
interesting to
going to the
watch.
cold. You know what I mean? It's a different
Man.
weather element to it as well.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's crazy. So I'm excited to see what he does and where his future holds. I mean, because he'll probably be top 3 in the draft, like at quarterback wise. It'll be Dylan Gabriel, probably Shooter Sanders, and then maybe Quinn Ewers, like we were talking about. And then there's always one unexpected quarterback that just like shines his senior year, junior year, and then his draft stock, assault like just soars. So we'll see who that is. Who's your next person?
Sticking with the Colorado Buffaloes, Travis Hunter. I'm
Travis Hunter.
I'm curious about him because he's a two-way player, so he plays offense and defense, wide
Right.
receiver, cornerback. The only issue with him is he's been hurt a lot. So even going back to his days at Jackson State, he's been hurt. Last year he was hurt, but you can see his playmaking ability at both positions when he's out there. And again, he's gonna probably go to the or commit to the NFL draft or declare for it, and it's gonna be curious to see what does he declare as. Does he declare as a two-way player? Because if that's the case, I don't know how NFL teams are gonna accept that,
Right.
right? How can you have one player playing two like two I'm trying to think two sides of the ball, and it's just gonna tire him out. Eventually, it's gonna lead to more opportunity or more chances to be injured. So I just
Right.
don't know if that's ideal for the NFL. But I think whatever position he commits to, he's gonna be one of the best playmakers in college football. Um, and then I guess to piggyback off of that, I'm excited to see Colorado. I want to see what they look like this year.
Year
They have,
2 under the regime. Yes, I agree.
yeah, and they have a lot of playmakers, former NFL players, kind of coaching them up. Like Ed Reed was just there,
Right.
and so it's gonna be interesting to see how these players,
And luckily for
respond to that type
them,
of coaching.
they don't see Oregon now. And they don't see someone else too. I think
Yeah,
Oregon and someone else left, like there's 2 teams I think that went to the Big 10. So I
yeah,
forgot
their
who the
conference got weaker for sure,
right.
but
So yeah.
now, but the good thing about Coach Prime is that he's gonna have them ready to play whoever. So I'm sure he's already talking to them about, yes, our conference is weaker, but if we want to compete to win a national championship, you guys have to be
Yeah, you
willing
have to
to go
beat
up
who you're
against
supposed to beat.
Alabama. Yeah.
Exactly. You got to beat who you're supposed to. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm down with that. So my next person is someone that definitely the country don't really know about because of where he was playing and then now where he's playing at. Dion Hankins, our home brother of El Paso, Texas. He was playing for UTEP. A lot of people don't know because UTEP is not UTEP is always garbage in football and schematics. So he's a running back, and I'm excited to see what he can do for Texas State. Texas State has been making leaps and bounds to make their college better sports wise, especially for the football program. So they're definitely improved in the last 15 years. So I'm excited to see what he can do, improve to show that he belongs because he really wants to be in the NFL.
Yep.
So, it'd be awesome to see another, Aaron Jones, someone from El Paso to, make that leap to the NFL and like shine. So, Dion Hankins, I'm excited to see what you're going to do, bro. And much love to you. And I personally know him. So, I definitely am going to be following him for sure. And yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do.
It's sad to see that they weren't able to like maximize his potential here at UTEP. I should say here
Exactly.
because I'm not at El Paso, but at UTEP because you saw the his play style. Like you saw he was a hard nosed runner. He would break
Right.
out runs, from time to time. He was just fun to watch, and he came at a time where Aaron Jones was going to the NFL, and then you had another hometown, well recognized, nationally recognized player coming, out of Parkland High School, going to UTEP. So that was just exciting times to have another potential NFL caliber running back come
Right.
through El Paso to now UTEP, and so it sucks that he had to transfer out. So I do wish him all the best in his next opportunity with Texas State. But I feel like I gotta give UTEP some credit too because I don't know if you're familiar with Scotty Waldron, or
The new
Scotty
head
Walden.
coach.
Yeah,
I'm excited for everything going forward with that because of him.
yeah, he's bringing some sort of excitement that we have not seen at UTEP for some time,
A long
and
time.
I don't think we've ever seen it honestly. Like as a fan, there was really not much promotion of UTEP athletics, especially UTEP football. Like you
Right.
didn't really know the players. Now this year, I mean, he's going to basketball games, he's going on to community meeting with people and just hyping
Everywhere.
everybody up. And not only that, but their social media team, they're also like making out, producing videos each week to try to get people
Hype up the
to
fans.
yeah, to know their team and what their team's about. So I really appreciate that from him. And I wish him all the best. I hope that
Absolutely.
he's yeah, I hope that he's able to win a lot of games for UTEP. I hope he builds the same type of buzz that New Mexico State had a couple seasons back. So I'm wishing him all
Dude,
the best.
I'm right there with you. Like I've told all the with my KOD football guys for, our sports show. I told all of them and I've told anybody who's asked, UTEP will never be able to recruit all the prime time football players because they don't put the money into it. They don't try. So you can't have an old school Belichick, like, let me try to scheme our way out of this type of coach. No, you need a young, raw, in your face that's hype up the whole team, go crazy, pandemonium type coach, and that's what he brings. And that's why I think this is going to definitely succeed for UTEP going for it. And what sucks too is because the money and then us never like trying to put more money into the football program, which UTEP should. I see him leaving within 2 or 3 years because he's gonna put this team on the map. Maybe not top 25, but they're gonna be like heavily like different and better. And then another team that's going to see this and is going to be able to offer him $500,000 more is going to be like, "Yo, dog, come over here," and then boom. But yeah, I think the as we have him for as long as we have him, it's going to be exciting times for El Paso and UTEP for sure.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the whole recruiting thing because that was a big thing that they've been lacking, right? I think ever since Mike Price left, um, and now I mean, he was probably the first coach to get like, I think he got a 5-star recruit for the first time ever in UTEP history at the tight end position. So like,
That's wild.
it just shows you that he's able to inspire these, high school players to commit to
Right,
them to a lower quality school compared to the likes of Alabama or whoever.
right. Because he'll
Um,
shine. This tight end's gonna shine here for sure.
yeah, definitely. And there's just a lot of excitement too, right? You have like Shea Smith, who's like the son of Paul Smith, a former UTEP running back, right?
Wow.
So there's just a lot of, like we were talking about this last week about players and their sons now reaching,
The
the
NFL and a
NFL and things of that
college,
nature.
and that's so cool.
Yeah. So it's the same situation here. Paul Smith's the legend. So hopefully his son, is able to have some success here. I don't think he's going to start this year, but at least, there's something we have to look forward to. So,
Right.
yeah, it's going to
Nice.
be fun. It's going to be fun
Heck
for sure.
yeah. All
This
right.
was fun.
Another
We don't normally talk college football, but it was fun.
another college player you're looking forward to, Danny?
Um, I'm going to go with James. He's a defensive end from Tennessee.
What was his name? You cut off for a little bit.
James Pierce Jr.
Oh, okay, I see him. James Pierce Jr. Sounds good. What does he do? What's going on?
He's just a dominant pass rusher. And, I guess looking at it from a Bears fan perspective, we need some pass rushers. So apparently he's had some pretty good seasons the last couple of years. So now as the main person, the main guy on that defensive line at Tennessee, I want to see what he's able to do and see how he's able to catapult himself as one of those, big pass rushers coming out of the draft this year. So you can just see the strength. You can see his ability, just the way that he bull rushes. All those attributes stand out in watching his highlights. So, yeah, I want to see. And of course, he plays for the SEC, right? The toughest
Yeah, the top
division
dog.
in college football. So,
Yeah, the top dog. Yeah, man. So, man, this is fun because it's like names and stuff that we've never really heard of, especially for the people that are listening and watching. I'm gonna go Luther Burden for mine, Missouri wide receiver. This guy is gonna be a Heisman candidate. He's electric to watch, and of course Missouri does. They don't get that much of a hype either. So Luther Burden, people remember his name because I think he's gonna be one of the top recruited draft picks next year for wide receiver for the NFL.
Luther,
Luther Burden. He's even got a cool name. I mean, Lex Luthor. He's about to wreak havoc on everybody.
I'm going to tune in for sure.
Lex Luthor Burden.
I think that, I mean, these are just people that are coming out of potentially coming out, for the draft. But there's just a lot of good players,
Oh yeah.
it's going to be
God,
fun
and
to
it
watch.
starts Saturday. Like, oh, I'm so
Saturday
stoked,
morning.
bro. Saturday we get back to football. Like, this is the greatest feeling ever.
Yeah. This week flew
Dude,
by for me, which is
dude,
good.
this week is going so, like, tomorrow's already Thursday. Like, to
Yeah.
me, it's gone so fast. To me, it feels like it should be Tuesday tomorrow or Monday. Like, I
I
don't know.
just hope next week flies by too.
It will, because like we're gonna get to the Wednesday show and then we're gonna do Thursday night football. Like, I mean, it's gonna woo,
Thursday night football, Friday night
fun
football.
times, my friend. Yeah, and then yeah, I get my Friday night. Jeez, I gotta prepare. I was like, Burgess said Bowie. I said Bowie. Man, that's crazy. I've never been to Bowie Stadium, so that's exciting.
Have you been to El
Apparently,
Paso High?
not for the no, I went to a neutral game for them. I think I went to them when they played at the SAC. I haven't been to
Hmm.
their stadium like while I've been there before, but I haven't been there on the job. So
Yeah,
yeah, I want to be there on the job. That'd be kind of exciting. See all the
that's
spirits and
awesome.
ghosts and all them. But
So I guess this is the Sun City Leatherheads. Tell us who's the high school favorites to be division winners this year. Do you know
well,
that?
Del Valle is going to be good. They're always good. Americas apparently is going to be a good one this year. So, Coach Rakoder, the great coach from Riverside, is now the head coach of Bel Air. So I
Oh
think
wow.
Bel Air is going to be really good again. So, like, yeah, the coach previously for Bel Air had them in the playoffs, and of course those poor guys played like who did they play? Like Permian Odessa or something.
Oh
So
shoot.
yeah, so they got whitewashed last year. But yeah, recorder from and it's crazy. So I've been to several Riverside games. So I've talked to Coach Recorder several times, and he's a genuine great guy. Like I remember one time I was talking to him and like it was an epic game, and then like they came back or whatever, Riverside won, and it just pandemonium. I was like, Coach, how do you feel? And he was just like, man, and he's just getting emotional. I love that. He's just raw, and he's like tearing up. He's like, man, I can't do this without those boys. Like they give me all their heart and all their energy and all their sweat and blood. He's like, and I was like, I was feeling his energy. I was like, dude, like I'll go play for you. Let's go. But yeah, it's exciting times. High schools. So our Andres alma mater is going to be at El Dorado to start. So this week one is kind of like one of the best week ones in high school in a while. Like
Really?
it's yeah, a lot of tough teams are playing tough. Like each game should not be a blowout really. Like it should be like competitive. So it's super
That's awesome.
stoked. Yeah.
I haven't been to a high school football game in a long time, but I know it
Well,
gets fun.
when
So
you come back and visit or whatever, Selfish Sam don't keep you out there. We'll go check out some games.
that sounds
We gotta
good.
go. We gotta go to UTEP game too, man. It's been a while.
I know.
Or the Sun Bowl
I
game.
definitely want to go for a UTEP game for
My
sure.
aunt Hemi, no lie, told me like this weekend or something. She's like, "Hey, Justin, in a few weeks they're gonna put the Sun Bowl tickets on sale." And dude, my face was like, because I already know like that's gonna be one of my Christmas gifts. I was like, I'm like, ooh, man.
Let's see who comes down.
Last year we were man. She got us tickets, thank God, early, and then we got to see Notre Dame again. Did you watch? Did you go?
Yeah, I was
Ha-
there.
Yeah, I think we are texting, right? But
Yeah. Let me show you my wallpaper. See if you see, we can see. That was me.
oh, look at that. So who's that person on the corner? You're
Sam.
just no, I'm just kidding. I'm just talking about the person in the way back. I know that's
Oh,
him.
okay.
Just
That's
I'm just messing around. You're like, oh, that's Sam. No, but yeah, man. Who do they play?
Oregon State.
Oregon State, the Beavers. Yeah,
You
that
know what's
was
funny? You know how they have like the, I don't know if you're familiar with Notre Dame, but normally they have the prayer after the game and they sing. They kind of join, arm by arm.
joining hands. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess while all that was going on, on the other side across from us of the stadium, some guy decided to rush the field to go into like the parade, and it wasn't even like the highest wall. It was like maybe like where it kind of slopes down,
Oh my God.
and the dude fell and broke his ankle. You could tell he was probably wasted.
You
He tried to
saw
get up.
it?
Yeah, he fell. There was cops like literally maybe like 20 feet away from him. And when he fell, of course, he tries to get back up and he tries to walk and he doesn't. He falls right again because his ankle is pointing in the opposite direction. So it was just really gnarly to see his ankle dangling there.
Damn, I wish you could
And
have
then
recorded that.
I know, I wish I would have. But then the cops come and they look at him like, "You're an
Yeah,
idiot." Like,
what are you doing?
so that was fun. I
Bro,
was more
what?
focused on that than the
Then the
parade.
parade. Yeah, then the celebration. What's so crazy? Like, obviously, I was quiet. I wanted a great game. I love Notre Dame, of course, more than Oregon State, especially because I'm an Oregon Duck fan. But I wanted a great game, and then we just saw like an ass whooping, and I was like, damn, this sucks. Like, this isn't
Yeah.
cool. But someone from Oregon State, like their quarterback sat, right? Or something, like their main starter sat or something.
Notre Dame's quarterback sat.
Jeez, then how the heck
Yeah,
was
I
it
don't know.
that bad?
That just showed you the level of competition. I guess is
And
much.
it's so wild. In the history of Notre Dame, that was their biggest bowl game win ever. That's
And we got
bizarre.
to see it.
And we got to witness it. Like that's something.
Yeah, that was fun. I don't think we'll see Notre Dame for a while again. I think the last time before that was what 2010.
Yeah, me, you, Sam, and Dave. Remember? And then they were
Yeah,
playing Miami, the Hurricanes.
in the cold, snowy
Yeah.
conditions. That was fun too.
And then I told you that the duck was on Quack. Remember? And then
Oh yeah.
remember I told you guys before the game, I was like, dude, this sucks. Like, it snowed and it's cold. It was supposed to be the Sun Bowl game. And I was like, dude, Miami's not going to have a chance. And then you guys are like, what? And I was like, dude, their weather, like, they're going to hate this weather. Sure enough, Notre Dame beat them down too. So you and I have
Yep.
seen Notre Dame twice and they've won both times. So
Yep.
we're doing okay. We're
Yeah.
doing all
We're
right.
doing good. Hey,
Yeah.
did you ever go to the Sun Bowl when Oregon came?
Back in the 90s and stuff, early thousands. Yeah.
Or early 2000s, no?
Yeah.
It
An
must
Oregon
have been
Duck
like
fan.
when Joey Harrington was there or something like that, maybe.
Are you there? Okay.
Yeah.
You kind of glitched. But yeah, so when I was younger, obviously my favorite color is green, and no one has nicer or more uniforms than the Oregon Ducks. And they weren't getting all their national fame yet. Like they were just top 25-ish, but like they weren't breaking the top 10s, top fives, they weren't getting all the
Mm-hmm.
love. And yeah, they would just come to El Paso. They came what, 3 times? They've come
Yeah.
to El Paso 4 times in their history. Not in 1943 or 34. I can't remember the I always flip the numbers, but they lost that game like 9-3 or 6-3. Like it was a not like low scoring game at the Sun Bowl. And then the last 3 times, which was like the 90s, early thousands, they won all of those games. So they're 3-1 at the Sun Bowl. And yeah, so that's when I started to love them. I was like, bro, like these uniforms, they're green, like, and they just like what I loved is that how big schools, when they find out that they're coming to Bone Dock, El Paso, they're like, dude, really, we don't want to go with those mariachis and blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
then they come here, they end up loving it, and they're like, hey man, this is actually a pretty cool place. And then, but Oregon never complained the first time. After that, you know what I mean? They were just like, cool, we have to go play, cool, let's go. Like they were like all
Yeah.
humble the whole time. And I was like, dude, I can run with that. Like I love that. So that's how I became a Duck fan.
Wow, I didn't know the history of that. Pretty
Yeah.
interesting. Well, they're a solid team, man. There's a lot to be excited about.
Oh
Even them
man,
joining the
yeah.
Big Ten Conference, I think it's
Woo!
going to be fun. And then you also have the new. This season will be the first time that they have the new playoff system with
And
college football.
Texas and Oklahoma joining the SEC this year. And Danny, who
Yeah.
does Oregon play now that they're playing the Big Ten? Who do they play?
Yeah, Ohio State. I think
The
was it week
Ohio
5
State. Oh, we're gonna be going at each other's throat. Hey,
in Oregon.
all right. Tell Sam to let the leash a little bit, and then we'll meet halfway or something. Like we'll watch
We'll
the
see.
game.
Let's do it.
It's at Oregon or what?
Yeah, it's at Oregon, and it'll be a Fox.
Oh,
I think a Fox kickoff game, so it's gonna be fun.
man, that was so crazy. I remember 2 years ago, I was Uncle G was there. So I was at Frank's, and Oregon was playing a team that was like they were supposed to lose to, right? Like it was Oregon being the upsetter. And I remember like they're gonna win. They're like, dude, I was going nuts. And then so I was watching it on my phone, and then a new game started on the Fox app.
Oh, that's.
And I was like, dude, I was going nuts. And then I went in Frank's house because we're all hanging out in the backyard cooking out, and like we're just having. So I went, and I luckily found it on TV, like a channel that was like, before we get you to their game, we'll show you the last bit. So I was like, oh. So then, sure enough, like I got to watch it, and then yeah, they upset somebody, and I was so happy. I was like, dude, like this is the greatest day. It was just a
It
fun
wasn't Ohio
day.
State, right?
It might have been
A couple of years back, they lost to.
Oregon, right?
to Oregon. Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been that game actually. Yeah, because I
CJ
remember.
Stroud.
I remember I was like, dude, we're gonna do it. Like I was so stoked. Yeah, and
Yeah,
that was
that was a
in
good game.
Ohio State, right? Like that was
Yep.
at the shoe.
Yep.
Ooh.
Fun times. Gonna
Well,
It's gonna be fun to see like how this playoff system works. So apparently, like every conference winner gets an
gets to
automatic
go
bye.
to play by. Yeah. Well, they get automatic bid in the playoffs, right? Like they go in the
Automatic bid, and then I think they get an automatic bye.
playoff. Wow.
And
It's
so
what,
everyone
12
else,
teams now?
12 teams, yeah. So every team that's not a conference winner will play each other to get to to play against the conference winner. So, yeah, it's a lot at stake, and then more games now. They have to go through.
What
I don't know. It's not. It's gonna be different because you know how now it's like they either have to win the semifinal to get to the championship. Now it's
Right.
like they have to win 2 to 3 more games before they can reach that
That's
level.
great. It makes it more. It just makes it more amazing for the fan, right? Like for the
Yeah.
like true fan, because there's a lot of people they're tired of seeing Alabama, they're tired of seeing Clemson. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
so, this is the way that they could have done it because at any given day now, one of the best teams can be popped out in an upset. So it's exciting.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun, and then I wonder how this is gonna play, or how this is gonna impact those players that are competing, to reach the national championship, and also competing to become a draft selection, in April.
Man,
Because you see that a
and you know
lot right
what?
now, where a lot of players like say, "Oh, I'm not gonna play. I'm gonna sit out this bowl game." I
Right.
wonder if that happens now with these
Not
playoff.
not a lot, and I bet you that's another reason why that it pushed quicker for this playoff solution because
Yeah,
it's like, dude, I don't want to. You can't sit out, or else we're gonna lose, and then we want to win the damn championship. You bleeper. Like they're gonna be talking back. They're gonna be talking to their teammates like, hey, mofo, like I want to win, so you better show up.
yeah. It's gonna
So,
be fun. I can't wait to see how it all plays out.
dude, so week 5 we play host. Dude, that week 5 is
I think so.
Dallas and Pittsburgh in the NFL season. Woo! Week 5 is
Already.
gonna be great for me back to back because week 5 in college will be week 4 in the NFL. So
Let's see. I'll let you know for sure when we play each other. So we play each other October 12th that weekend. So I don't know what.
ooh, October, man.
It doesn't tell me the
Let
week.
me win
But
the let me win the lottery real quick. We'll fly to Oregon and we'll watch the game.
hey, I'll go with you. I don't care. I'll pay my
I'm
own way.
I'm down.
That'll be
I've
awesome.
always wanted to go there.
Me too. I've always wanted to go to Oregon, Seattle, that whole Pacific Northwest
Oh, it's so
region.
beautiful. Like it's so amazing.
Gabe's gonna be out there in September pretty soon, so he's gonna
What's
be
he
able
what's
to.
he what's he going there for?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think he's gonna go relax in the wilderness.
Gabe, are you still listening? What's happening? You going up to the nature?
He's gonna go get a cabin, live in the woods, rough it.
That's
So yeah,
awesome.
that's gonna be pretty cool for him.
But man, so the NFL starts next week, Danny. Oh man, I'm so next week we'll do like bold predictions and we'll do a whole
Yeah,
like intense like onslaught of like what the season is to come, and then obviously we'll pick a few games to predict of week 1, the divisions again. Like we'll talk about divisions. I can't do the NFC East, you can't do the NFC North, so I'll do the NFC North, you do the
fair.
NFC East. So
Okay,
it'll be
let's
and
do that.
then yeah, so next week's gonna be fun. We'll break down a lot of stuff, and then we'll talk about week 1 matchups, and obviously the game the next day, which would be the Ravens. And I can't wait to watch Derrick Henry in a Ravens uniform. Like to have the option of Lamar running or Derrick Henry running, like who you double guarding?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's draft season also for fantasy football. Like ours is coming
Right.
up this weekend. And then I have a couple
You
more on
never
Monday and
tell
Tuesday.
me, man. We're gonna have a few conversations. You're always like, hey man, we're having fantasy. And then I'm like, what? When?
Hey, I have very a very popular league. Like everybody that's been with me has stayed
Forever.
in our league for
The
5+
whole
years now.
yeah, like oh yeah, remember because they were like, hey Danny, what happens when you move? Like, are you gonna be able to do it? And you're like,
Yeah,
it's online. Like I do whatever I want. I remember they were asking you like, what's gonna happen?
yeah. So now we're doing an in-person draft. So Gabe's having his own draft party in El Paso. I'm having my draft party in Phoenix for those that live here in Arizona. So it's like kind of half and half
That's
within the
crazy. So
league.
you guys are gonna like zoom in and then like
Yeah, that's the plan. So we'll do that.
that's
But
awesome.
yeah, so
Yeah,
I was
I'm
actually
gonna be on
trying to
that
do
draft.
some. I'll go for it.
No, you go first.
I was gonna say that I've been doing like some mock drafts, and every time I get to like the second round, Derrick Henry is there, and it's tough. Like it's tempting because I know what he can do, but it
Right.
makes me nervous to see how he's gonna be used in Baltimore. Like
With the running back, right?
Yeah, that's what worries me. So
Right. I agree. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna be back on that damn DraftKings, train, and they're probably gonna take all my damn money. But man, it's so hard to like. What sucks is that it's always one player that makes you win that like just comes out of nowhere each week,
yeah,
especially
the
like if
waiver
you do
wire.
like if you do the DraftKings way, like it's one player that just someone picks and then that person just gets them the win, and I'm like, damn, I've been close a few times, but I'm like, dude, this is crazy.
Yeah, that's the way you win in fantasy football. You have to be in the waiver wire and try to predict those players that are kind of blossoming those first
Right.
couple
Yeah,
weeks,
that'll
and
shoot
then
up
just
that
stash
one
them.
week. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
mine was
wild.
Puka Nakua last year that won me my championship.
Yeah,
So
you puka the right one.
I exactly.
Hey, there's a lot of Nakuas now. Like, there's what, three or
Yeah.
four in the league. Like,
Did
damn,
you see his brother almost ran a kickoff back?
dude, I was so okay. My dad was mad. He was like, "Why does he keep running to the side or whatever?" I'm okay with that because he sees the defender. When they went back to the draw, when they went back to watch the practice, or the war room, the video room, the coaches on special teams especially are more pissed off at the
At the
people
blocking.
running with him, exactly, because they're looking at him instead of looking to block while they celebrated.
He had like
There's
five of his teammates next to him, right?
literally two next to him, but they're looking at him instead of looking this way, just in case, like, because they could have been high fiving literally at the 1 or 2, but they were like at like literally at the 10-yard line, like, "Ah," and I'm like, dude, I was so pissed looking at their heads. I was like, you're the reason why he didn't get that touchdown.
Yep. That
Because
was
hats off to that tight end though, because homeboy is like, like, dude, homeboy just doesn't quit on the damn play, and then he gets the tackle. Like, cause
yeah, no.
he's huffing and puffing, but he if that dude didn't make the team while he did that tackle, I'm mad at the Tennessee Titans, because I'm
Hey,
like,
he
that showed no quit right there.
exactly. And that's what you want from your players, especially those players in the special teams, right? Because
Right.
that's what it was. It was the special teamers out there. And no, he I mean, that was just pitiful blocking for sure. That's the one thing that stood out to me too, was they had a wall in front of him or next to him,
And they're
and he
looking at
still didn't
him.
make it.
Yeah, and they're looking at him. I'm like, dude, like, look first and then celebrate. But like,
And
they were just like, we're gonna do it.
and that player for the Titans saved that touchdown, and that was halftime, right? After that.
Right. Yeah, that was the last play literally before the half. And then you see, Timbo Bubba, and then like boom, he, like, good for him, like, because that just solidified your spot on the team, bro. Like, you made the team for sure, because that
Yeah, he
hustle. Because if you see the highlight, he literally has to run like around people to not get blocked or to not get in front of, like, it in people in his teammates way, and then he just slowly goes this way, and then he's like, boop.
I hope he got a game ball for that for sure.
Dude, yeah. I mean, because if that's a regular season game, that is a game changing moment on the defensive special teams by getting the tackle.
Yeah. That will change all momentum. That would lead to possibly a win. Like, yeah,
Right.
that's
Yeah. Because you're like, dude, if they score, we probably lose later. Or if they don't score, we probably win later. So yeah, that was wild.
yeah. That's probably the highlight of week 3 of the NFL
That
preseason,
by
right?
far. Because man, it wasn't even the Cowboys, and I jumped out of my seat because when he went left, then he split the first seam. I was like, oh, he could do it. Like, I jumped out of my seat and I was like, go, dude, go, Nakua. And then, like, sure enough, I was like, block. And then boop. And I was like, oh my God. After all that.
And Samson Nakua did not make the team, I don't think.
What?
Yeah, I think he got released. Yeah, he was released today or yesterday. Which sucks, huh?
His name is Samson Nakua. I bet dude, imagine he goes plays with Puka.
That'd be awesome.
That would be. I could see that. That is a Sean McVay play ready to, or move ready to happen. Because I'm like, wait, how did he get cut, dude? What the heck? I
Dang, I
don't
hope
know
they cut
about that.
the guys that were blocking for
Right. Oh, dude, I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah, head scratching moves
But
by
yeah,
the
but that's
Saints.
the point. Yeah, but I mean, we're not there with the practices. We're not. Oh, that's crazy. So hopefully, it gets picked up by somebody else. Dallas, come on, man. We need more special team love like that. Like that'd be awesome. I would love to have him. If he can return that, I'd rather. I mean, I'm down with that.
Yeah, he
Hey,
has good
so
vision.
who do you think is going to be the first team or the first player to do a kickoff return for a touchdown with the new setup?
Hmm, good
That's a
question.
crazy question, dude. Because I haven't seen anyone. Well, apparently San Francisco had a good kickoff, but we didn't get to see that game. But like I have, from my point of view and my me being able to watch the games, I haven't seen one person pass the 40.
I've seen a couple. One of them being the guy the Jets traded to the Bills, and then
Oh
I know
man,
the Chiefs have had a couple of of their special teamers kind of break some.
but
But
no one
yeah,
scored yet, right?
it's weird because you know how when this kickoff rule was enacted, we thought, oh wow, we're gonna see a lot more plays,
Yeah, we thought we were gonna see them like just zoom by people, but it's
and it hasn't
definitely
happened.
not the case.
Yeah, and apparently, I don't know what they meant by this, but I was reading an article earlier in the week that the owners are gonna try to make some changes to the kickoff return, some rule changes. So I don't know what that
More?
means. I don't know if that means that they're gonna maybe change like where the starting position is if you kick it not in the landing spot, but you kick it somewhere else. I don't know if they're gonna make you start at the 40 rather than the 30 to be like as a form of punishment for not
That's
reaching the landing
wild.
spot. But that's kind of the rumors that I was hearing today. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, no, to your point, I thought I would see more plays, more
Yeah, more
dynamic plays.
flashes. Exactly. What the heck?
Oh
Yeah.
look, Gabe
Well,
said he's gonna go. He's gonna be renting a cabin in Kingston, and he's gonna go watch the Mariners and the Yankees. That's pretty cool.
whoo, well, we know who's gonna win that game. The Yankees. That's dope,
It,
Gabe. Good job. Hats off. Safe travels, and then have a great time for sure. Dude, the
T-Mobile Park
Yankees
looks
looking
pretty cool.
good, man. The Yankees looking good. Them and the Dodgers. Imagine the viewership, the pandemonium, the worth of all billions of media exposure if the two most beloved and hated, most richest franchises of the baseball world collide in the World Series. This
That would
year
be
is
awesome.
this year is the best possibility it's ever happened in a long time, but I can see the Dodgers and the Yankees playing in the World Series, and imagine the pandemonium of the baseball world. It would go bonkers.
Yeah, no, I think baseball would get more fans for sure this year.
Absolutely. I've been saying it all year too, because like both teams have been looking great at times, and of course, each team every year always goes through little spurts of like where they stumble. But I'm like,
Yeah,
they're the two best. They're the two best teams, like hands down.
that's
And like,
consistent.
yeah, exactly. So I'm like, man, it would be amazing for the baseball because like the Texas Rangers and then the Diamondbacks was like the least viewed World Series ever.
Yeah,
So it would go from the least viewed ever to the most viewed within a year, and then it would just make the baseball world go crazy again.
I think that's what hurts the baseball, like the MLB, is the fact that you have these teams like the Dodgers that are consistently good the whole year and are
Right.
the favorites going into the postseason. But then all of a sudden, when they reach the postseason, they lose to the likes
Like,
of the Diamondbacks,
yeah,
right?
whoever gets hot at the time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And so
it's
I
yeah,
think,
baseball's wild.
yeah, I think that baseball is probably the only sport that you can not predict the championship because you just
Well,
people get hot at the right
not
time.
the it's not the easiest, that's for sure. Because like in other sports, when teams are like consistent and the best, like they pretty much stay that way.
Yeah.
Baseball is like, yeah, we barely made it in. We're gonna do the playoff game. Yeah, all right. So then they win one game, the play-in game, and then all of a sudden they're like off to the races, and then they go like that's what the Diamondbacks did.
Yeah.
They got hot, they did the play-in, and then they went to the damn World Series.
I'm actually gonna go watch the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers tomorrow. No, Friday.
What? How
So
lucky did you get? What the heck? You're gonna
that's
see
gonna be fun.
Otani? Say hi to my
Yeah,
family member. Tell my
I
cousin
will.
I
I
say
say
what's up.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. Your cousin from El Paso say hi. Bro, that's dope. Hey, man, send me some pictures or something. That's cool.
I will. We're gonna be sitting by the dugout,
You and Sam or what?
or not the dugout. I'm sorry, the bullpen. Yeah, it's gonna be Sam and I, and then my brother-in-law and sister-in-law are coming down. So it's gonna
What?
be Missy and Todd. They're Dodgers fans, so they wanted to go watch them. So we're joining them.
Nice. Dude,
So
that's so
we'll see.
cool. What?
And I've actually, I mean, now that I live in Arizona, I've watched the Diamondbacks more frequently than the Cubs, but they're actually
Ooh.
pretty fun to watch too.
Gabe, did you hear that? He's transitioning again. No Notre
I'm
Dame
not
to
trying.
Ohio State, and then
I'm not
no Rams
transitioning.
to the Bears.
I'm
Gabe,
just a local fan.
You better check him. You better check him real quick, Gabe.
I'm still a Cubs fan. You should see my room. If I can turn my camera, I would, so you can see my walls right now with
Gabe,
all the
pretty soon
Cubs
it's
stuff.
not going to be Duck Bears. He's going to be like Duck Backs.
That sounds horrible.
Ah. Oh man, but yeah, man, it's been great. It's always been fun. Obviously, this
As
one,
always,
yeah, the build up of the season obviously is a little tougher the first few weeks before the season. But next week, week one, the pandemonium begins, and then we're off to the races. So next week, man, we're gonna have some intense bold predictions and all that fun jazz, and it's gonna be crazy.
I can't wait to hear your bold predictions.
Why?
I want to, I want to hear what Dan Quinn has to has to offer in those bold predictions and his
Gabe's like, what?
conspiracies.
No way. Dan Quinn. Oh yeah, Dan. Oh, both programs, Dan Quinn. Oh yeah. I'll do my impersonations too, like
Hey,
Pat Summerall.
one question I would like to hear your bold prediction on is which rookie quarterback is going to have the best season. So think about it.
That's for next week.
Yep.
Bold prediction: best rookie quarterback, JJ McCarthy, right there, right there, right there.
Yeah, on the couch
Hey.
recovering.
He can't lose.
That's true. He'll be undefeated.
Yeah, and he'll make millions. Can't beat that. But oh man, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be interesting. Oh man, I can't wait. Like I'm so like I'm like thinking of next week already. I'm like,
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. And then after next week, Essa is just gonna fly by, and it's gonna be
oh, don't tell me.
yeah. So
Yeah,
let's enjoy it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's about to get real busy for me. Football Fridays, our podcast Wednesdays, and of course Thursday, Friday, Saturday. No, Thursday,
Monday.
yeah. Pretty much all football the whole week.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy.
Then we'll be in Christmas, and then it'll be 2025, and then we'll be doing this all over again.
Dude, can you imagine 2025? We're almost a year away from our 20-year anniversary.
Every time you say that, it makes me feel even older.
Dude, I mean,
It's crazy.
I just can't fathom the idea.
I know.
I need to have a kid, man. All these damn women are here. I need to go find somewhere else or like go hunt somewhere else because
That's a
past-
topic for another podcast.
yeah, damn, past the women don't do me right. But all right, man. Danny Ramirez, always a pleasure. Sun City Leatherheads podcast. Next week will be a great week, ladies and gentlemen. We have week one of the NFL season, so we're gonna do some great bold predictions. What is that? You mentioned it a few episodes ago, where it's like we do segments quick or whatever. What's it called?
Oh, like a rapid fire?
Rapid fire. Yeah, we'll do something like that. Like that'll be fun. We'll do, like you said, like who's gonna be rookie of the year, which should be, probably one of the quarterbacks, because they never pick anybody else but a quarterback nowadays.
Yeah, our podcast will become more interactive for sure. So we'll definitely bring that.
I know we need to get more
viewers.
people to chime in. Gabe, make sure people that tell Brick Griffin to get on. I mean, that dude always has a mouth, so
Brick.
tell him to get on. Him and his like, oh yeah, Tom Brady's the greatest.
He's putting fires out. So
yeah, from
Give him
his
some
mouth. Well, come on, tell Brick Griffin. Come on, let's go. But we need more people to show. I'll try to get some people too, man. And be like, hey, we're going live. We're talking
your Friday peeps at the KROD.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. Hopefully they'll be doing it. But all those dudes are like, man, some are married and some are businessmen now. Like, I mean, some they have their own lives, but it was funny. So we're like talking about the where we're gonna meet up right after the games because that's what we do after the shows. Like we'll have one place, so like Twin Peaks or Cabos or whatever. And then Adrian is kind of one of the main ones, like helping us trying to find a place. He was like, well, because he's married now. He's like, well, doesn't
This
matter where
Broadus?
you. Yeah. Adrian Bryce. Yeah, he's like, well, I don't care where you all pick because I'm not gonna be there.
Ooh,
I was
and
like,
it happens.
his wife's got him on lock. But yeah, man, it's gonna be
Are you
exciting
sure you
time.
want that life?
I'll
You
have
want
10.
kids?
I don't have 10 kids. I'll have 10 kids. I mean, the women can do what the heck they want because they're gonna be like me. But
Hey, don't be a Tyreek Hill now, okay?
hey, apparently, look, Nick Cannon, Tyreek Hill, they might be onto something. The more kids you have, the richer you get. So who knows?
I don't know. Or the poorer in
I don't know.
in
Look at you.
El Paso's case.
I don't know. You keep succeeding. You guys keep traveling. You got what, 5 now? 4? Basketball team.
Almost.
You should get that 5th one. Just go for it.
Yeah. It ain't happening.
Oh man, but it's been fun. Like always, Gabe, thanks for chiming in. You're our most consistent subscriber. So it's been fun. Danny Ramirez, until next time, sir. Sun City Leatherheads out.
Go D-backs. Just kidding.
Gabe, I told you.